Hi, everyone. Master Jedi Colleen here, co host of Bohemian Geek Studies and yet another Star Wars podcast. But I'm not only a podcaster, I'm also an author. My second novel was published last fall and it debuted as #1 horror novel on Amazon, which was really cool. If you like Stephen King, weird happenings in small towns, or just looking for a new writer, give my novel The Falls a try. It's set in Minnesota where everyone wears that nice facade. Nothing is ever what it seems. Find The Falls by Colleen McMillan on Amazon and the Between the Lines publishing website.
Ladies and gentlemen, please notice that exits are conveniently located at the front and rear of this auditorium. When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
I was gonna say, like, the whole point of Star Wars is to get in to shoot those friggin' things to kill the Death Star. You're talking about the whole design of that movie.
I'm a little.
Things didn't go the way you thought.
No, I'm just a little.
Stallone's playing soccer?
Yeah.
What's going on? I'm watching this.
I saw that at a very young age, and I didn't.
You're coming at me hard.
I'm not coming at you hard.
Yeah, you are.
I just don't believe her choices. Her choices are ridiculous.
Give me an emotion.
Hi, I'm Mike Butler.
And I'm Mike Field.
And you're listening to the Forgotten Cinema Podcast. Each episode, we highlight a film that, for a variety of reasons, was forgotten by audiences. Whether it be because a more popular movie was released at the same time, or the movie simply didn't catch on with an audience in its initial run. We'll discuss what we love about the movie, or maybe don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it. If you enjoy our podcast, please feel free to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now.
What's going on?
Nothing.
All right.
Just
I'm listening.
playing a game. It's a game called Burglary.
How about a nice game of chess? Yes, what are we doing today?
We are doing the 1973 film.
No,
Nope,
1972.
Damn it. We are doing the 1972 film Sleuth.
That's right. Based on the renowned play of the same name, this mystery finds Andrew Wyke, a wealthy author of detective novels and game aficionado, facing off against his wife's lover, Milo Tyndall, a middle-class hair salon owner. When Wyke, who is seemingly content to split from his wife, strikes an unusual deal with Tyndall, it sets into motion a fierce game of one-upmanship between the two, with the stakes growing increasingly higher. It's okay. Not bad.
Not bad.
This movie, Sleuth, has a runtime of 138 minutes, and it feels it. Rated PG. Production budget of $3.5 million. It had a release date of Sunday, December 10th, 1972. Obviously, this movie is so old that a lot back then, the release dates were just, they were out and the movies just came out. It wasn't like every Friday a new movie came out. So,
Right.
And we've come up against this a couple times with older films. Its opening weekend, it did $4 million. Domestic and worldwide are the same. The note I have is it's 5.7 million total, but that is also including rentals, which I'm not sure if that means. I don't
Theater
think it means
rentals.
I think it means theater. I do not think it. I think it means like renting out the theater to show the movie.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where that little caveat is there. Production company was Palomar Pictures International, and it was distributed by 20th Century Fox. Okay, so I said it came out on the 10th of December, 1972. So I guess you could consider this a Christmas movie. On the 13th, you had The Poseidon Adventure and The Getaway. And then on the 21st of December, you had Jeremiah Johnson. So that was the holiday films for that year.
Yeah. Those are good films.
You've seen all of those?
I've seen parts of Jeremiah Johnson. I know a lot about it.
Everyone knows the Jeremiah Johnson meme that they mistake that for somebody else, but it's Robert Redford.
Yeah, because it doesn't look like Robert Redford.
No, not at all. But then when someone tells you that's Robert Redford, then you're like, okay, I see it.
Yeah.
And then after that, the only movie they had listed was the 27th of January, which is a full month from that, was Last Tango in Paris. And then that's it. So there's not a lot movies were different back then when they got released. And movie theaters were a lot different back in the day. This movie was directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz. He has won 2 Oscars, one for A Letter to Three Wives and All About Eve. He's also done Cleopatra. The screenplay was written by the same person who wrote the play. So he basically adapted his own play, Anthony Schaffer. He has written the Hitchcock film Frenzy. He did The Wicker Man, the original Wicker Man. He also did the 74 Murder on the Orient Express and 1978's Death on the Nile. I'm just saying the years there because obviously the remakes have come out, and Death on the Nile should be out already, right?
When this episode comes out, Death on the Nile will be out. I don't think I've seen Frenzy.
The Hitchcock one?
Yeah. Which one's that?
Oh no, you're gonna put me on the spot here.
Is that the one that's done like a play? It's done in one room.
No,
kind of a
that's
thing?
Rope.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Rope yet either.
Man, I'm blanking.
That's fine.
I know it. Like I know it's Hitchcock, and I can envision the poster. I'm just blanking on. I'm mixing it with other Hitchcock films.
Oh, gotcha.
Great job, Mike. Cinematographer is Oswald Morris. He has won an Oscar for cinematography for the movie Fiddler on the Roof. He also was nominated for The Wiz and Oliver. He's done also The Dark Crystal and The 7% Solution. That's a movie I actually really want to see that I keep meaning to try to get to, and I forget.
Is it on your Criterion channel?
Oh, you know what? I didn't even check, but I'm going to write it down so I remember to watch it.
Yeah, right.
I actually saw Look on the board over there. I got movies written down that I want to watch. Look, see?
Oh, snap.
Yeah, right? Yeah. What's that? What's that now? Did you ever see Fiddler on the Roof?
I've seen Fiddler on the
I
Roof.
saw Fiddler on the Roof in a college class. I don't even know why we were watching it. It wasn't for the class. It was just we were just watching Fiddler on the Roof.
Hey guys, I got a wicked hangover.
Pretty much.
Here's Fiddler on the Roof. This is a math class.
It's like I was going to Greendale. Composer is John Addison. He won an Oscar for the movie Tom Jones. He's also done The Bridge Too Far, and he's also composed the TV theme and actually probably most of the music in the show for Murder, She Wrote, for those Jessica Fletcher.
That kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Edited by Richard Martin, who's done Reds, Hellraiser, Hellraiser, and Hellbound Hellraiser 2, and the 1990 movie Hamlet. And then produced by Morton Gottlieb, who's done Romantic Comedy. That's the actual name of the movie. And same time next year. All right, so let me give you this cast. It is loaded with people.
God, we
so
don't have
many
the time,
people.
man. Cut it down a little bit.
There are 2 people in this cast. Sir Laurence Olivier and Michael Caine. So there are definitely you're not wanting for great talent in this movie. So Sir Laurence Olivier plays Andrew Wyke, and we've never done a movie with Olivier. So I'm going to give you all the movies that he was nominated for an Oscar and won.
We haven't done an Olivier movie?
No, we have not.
Wow.
He won an Oscar for his role in Hamlet, not the 90 version. That was Mel Gibson, everyone. But he was nominated for The Boys from Brazil, Wuthering Heights, Rebecca, The Entertainer, Othello, Marathon Man, and I believe Richard III. But he also was nominated for a movie, and get ready for the title, Butler, The Chronicle History of King Henry V with his battle fought at Agincourt in France. That's the entire title.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
Yep.
Could you imagine working at the theater?
The
And
marquee.
the marquee. I need you to put this up. Are you kidding me?
I just need initials. We still don't have enough letters.
If you're not aware of Sir Laurence Olivier, I know he passed away in '89, so I can understand a lot of people now knowing him, but
He's an older actor, but
yeah, Bridge Too Far is something you might want to catch.
absolutely. I think any of his
Marathon
Shakespeare
Man. I'm trying to think of stuff that maybe people would kind of gravitate towards. It's relatively new.
stuff. Marathon Man, I guess. That's not really showing off his.
Yeah, but that's him in Hoffman too. That whole scene is. I'm just saying something that's.
I mean, that's
newer.
one of my favorite parts about Laurence Olivier when Hoffman goes to run
Mhm.
and he goes, I got to run. He runs like a mile and a half to get in shape, and he was running with the cross country runners. He goes, why don't you just try acting?
Oh, Olivier. Okay, then you had Michael Caine as Milo Tindo. He was nominated for an Oscar for In Alfie, Educating Rita, The Quiet American. He's won 2 Oscars for his supporting role in Hannah and Her Sisters, and then The Cider House Rules, which I've not seen in quite some time, and I keep meaning to go back.
This is like the third time we've brought up Cider House Rules in a
Well,
few months.
we brought it up when we did Pint, but forgotten February. So I think there
Forgotten
was
February stuff, and then I think we did it one other time
I
too.
believe so, yeah. All right. Whatever. So now this movie, Sleuth, was nominated for 4 Academy Awards. Best Score, Best Director, and Best Actor, which was Caine and Olivier. So they clearly split the vote, which is why they didn't win that year. I'm not going to do, hey, Butler, who do you think won that year? Because I'm going to tell you who else was nominated, and you're already going to know who won. So Peter O'Toole was nominated for The Ruling Class, Paul Winfield for Sounder, and Marlon Brando for a movie called The Godfather. Who do you think won?
What's The Godfather? I don't know if I've seen that one.
Yeah. So yeah, but so he won for The Godfather. Side note, this is completely off topic. The Godfather won Best Picture that year, but Coppola didn't win Best Director. Bob Fosse did for Cabaret, and I know I always rail about that. But how do you not get Best Director when you do Best? I didn't realize that. So
This is one of the only films that was up for Best Director that wasn't also up for Best Picture too.
Sleuth, yeah.
Yeah.
Sleuth did not have a Best Picture nod, but Mankiewicz got nominated for Best Director. Yeah, I don't get it. Politics, I guess. Politics. And another Academy Award note. So Addison was nominated for Best Score, but he wasn't initially nominated He got in because Godfather was nominated, but was disqualified because the love theme they used in The Godfather was from another movie that the composer had done.
Speak Softly Love isn't originally from The Godfather.
That DQ'd Godfather, and then Sleuth came in with the nomination. So I guess it is an honor to be nominated. All right. You had not seen this?
I have seen this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is an older film that we have both seen. It's been quite a while since I've seen this. So I was glad that we could go back.
It's definitely been a few years for me as well.
What's your I guess, I don't know, first impressions?
I love this film. I love the dialogue. I love that it's, this is the exact opposite of last week with The Shape of Things, where I talk about how the dialogue's too play-y and it's not real.
This is
also so play-y, but it works. It's I guess the way it presents itself. This presents itself kind of like a play, kind of like Noises Off in a way. In this kind of, it's larger than life. It's like I don't want to say it's like Clue, the film Clue, because
I think the location gives you that,
but it gives you that kind of vibe, but also that kind of fun, the music behind it, the fact that it's kind of like a fun like mystery, but it's more about how they get to it than what the mystery is.
Mm-hmm.
It just really, really works for me. It makes me want to be in like this movie as I'm watching. It makes me want to be one of the characters in this film.
Gotcha,
I want to be one of these guys. I want to
do this
play.
Tindo. You want to be Tindo.
Oh, who doesn't? Yeah, absolutely.
Tindo gets to do 2 parts.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious, when you first watched this film, did you realize that Caine was the second part? So in this movie, for those who maybe don't know, Olivier, excuse me, let me use their character names. So as Wyke invites, Tindo comes over to Wyke's mansion. He's this huge game enthusiast and he's a writer. And he basically is going over there to try to get Wyke to divorce his wife, right? Like that's
Milo's been having an affair with Wyke's wife, who they are already kind of separated. Wyke's sleeping with someone else as well.
He's got a mistress,
and Milo just wants them to get a divorce, so that Milo can marry Margaret.
Yes,
which is Andrew Wyke's wife.
They and he plays a game with him. Wyke plays a game with Tindo, pretend, hey, why don't you pretend to rob my house, steal the jewelry?
My wife has expensive taste, so rob this jewelry.
Yes,
you can sell half of it. I'll get the insurance money for it, because I need some money right now.
Yeah.
And boom,
you can go off and take care of my wife because she's going to be neat. And then he shoots him.
Trick to like scare the shit out of him.
Yeah, he shoots him, and then it ends, and it's like end of Act 1. And then Act 2 begins, and Wyke is at home. Everything's cleaned up, and Inspector shows up. Detective Inspector shows up. Plotter in the
Plotter, yep.
Shows up and basically breaks down everything that happened. He's gonna he kind of,
or not Plotter, Doppler,
excuse me,
who is a plotter.
Exactly, that's why I'm thinking of that. Gets him to he kind of basically pushes Wyke, where Wyke just admits like, no, it was a game and it was a blank, and he reveals that it was a blank. I didn't kill him. He waked up. He was all like upset and angry with me, but I sent him on his way and I haven't seen him since. And this guy's saying, oh, he's disappeared. And basically you find out that Doppler is actually Tindo dressed up and
trying to scare Wyke,
trying to get turnabout's fair play. And then Tindo ends up, after that, oh, you got me. Then Tindo says, hey, your mistress came over and I killed her. And there's
cops are coming, and
cops are
I've
coming.
Set you up for the murder. You've
got to find the 4 pieces in this room, and kind of pulls another trick on Wyke. And then it just then it devolves into where at the end Wyke is embarrassed because of that, and ends up shooting Tindo and killing him. And then the real cops show up, and it
turns out Tindo wasn't lying about that.
Right. So it's a little back and forth between 2 people. My question, I don't know why I had to go explain the whole thing. My question to you was, when you first saw it, did you realize that Michael Caine was Doppler?
I thought there was something off about Doppler. But the first time I saw it, I definitely saw it in like HBO or Cinemax or something. And I caught it right as Michael Caine was getting killed in the clown outfit. And I only watched it because I was flipping through the channels and it was Laurence Olivier and Michael Caine. And I had never heard of Sleuth. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And he shoots him. I figured he was dead and the cop shows up. That's exactly where I started it, right at his death scene on the stairs.
Okay.
And I had no idea that was going to happen. But, you start to kind of get, there's something off about Doppler. He doesn't look quite right.
Right.
But the makeup is well done, but yeah, it looks a little off. But I wasn't shocked when he revealed himself to be Tindo, but at the same time, I wasn't fully expecting it.
Did that affect your second viewing of it for this?
Yes. I mean, obviously I knew it was going to be him,
right?
But I loved it. That made me love it even more.
It didn't negatively affect you.
It didn't negatively affect it at all. Because it's not about who is Doppler and Tindo. It's about the game. It's not about, like I said, it's not about the mystery itself.
Right.
It's about how they're solving and going about the game or the mystery.
Right. So they they kind of tried to when this movie was coming out, they were trying to hide the fact there was only 2 actors in it. So in the beginning, the production and marketing team would use fake names in press releases. They would add people like, "Oh, this person's in the movie. This person's in the movie," and they still have them on the Wikipedia page. Like, it's not real.
Credit only Alex Cawthorne as Inspector Doppler. John Matthews as Detective Sergeant Tarrant.
And like Rex Reed was on did interviews with Mankiewicz, and they were like talking about he would talk about how like, oh, there's going to be some cameos in this film, and so they were trying to put you off on the scent, which is nowadays you couldn't do that because everyone needs to know everything. But back then, if you're not familiar with the play, I guess that really, holds true.
You would have to have like actors actually come to set and have like paparazzi take pictures of them.
Yeah.
And like have them in like cloaks, and it's like, oh, look at that. Like
if it was a movie that was highly anticipated.
Yeah. Like the next big Marvel movie or something, and you had like these weird actors come in. It turns out they weren't in the movie at all. Like,
well, they did that for Doctor Who, the last Doctor Who they tried to cast with Jodie Whittaker. They were bringing in people and pretending that they were shooting fake stuff, and they were shooting. Yeah. So they were playing that game.
Right.
Which I'm sure they'll do again.
Which you kind of have to. Yeah. So I think that's, I like that aspect, but what's also weird is though you talk about how they did that. And it's a Tony award-winning play.
Yes.
A lot of people have seen the play because it performed.
It was on
Broadway and for forever, like something like 2,000, 3,000 shows.
It ran on Broadway. It's open on Broadway November 12th, 1970, and it ran for 1,222 performances. That run. Right. It might have come back since then, and it won the 1971 Tony Award for Best Play.
Yeah. So, I mean, some people already knew.
Yeah. And the Edgar Allan Poe Award that's on the mantle in the movie that Olivier points to and Caine grabs like he's going to break it, that's actually Schaffer's award for the play. So that's his award that they used up there. They kept going to it. Like, they're going to break that. They kept doing this thing in there with the editing where they kept cutting away to stills of different things.
Right.
And I didn't know if that was just to break it up or they had to cut somewhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like they were just trying to hide stuff.
I feel like it's a little bit of both. Kind of pad the movie, but also hide stuff. It also makes you think that they're going to play a bigger role in the film, and they don't. The only one that plays any kind of role is like Laughing John or whatever it is, or Laughing Jack.
Oh, what the doll?
The doll that laughs.
The pirate thing?
Yeah, he's the only one that actually has anything to do with the mystery.
Which is Olivier's laughter. That's what they used there for that track. So let me ask you this. Caine was the third choice to play the role.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about the other two?
I did yesterday. Now I don't have.
Okay, that's fine. So Albert Finney was deemed too heavy at the time, I guess.
Which is fine.
And they were going to offer to Alan Bates.
Because he walked out.
He turned it down because he went to go see the play. And he walked out of the play saying, like, claiming that the role was unbecoming of an actor of his stature. But he walked out in intermission because he didn't realize. He walked out after Milo was killed and didn't realize that he comes back.
He thought his character dies halfway.
So he blew it.
What a bitch.
Well, so are you glad that obviously it fell to Caine? It's Caine's
Absolutely.
role?
It's Michael Caine's role. He's so good in it. He's perfectly charming and devious and deceitful, but he's also having fun with Andrew during some of the scenes when he's the clown. It's just, they play off each other so well. I can't imagine anyone having such great chemistry with Olivier like that. And you need someone of Caine's stature who can really, I mean, maybe Finney. Finney's a fantastic actor as well.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't think I've seen much young Finney.
Yeah, you're talking like Big Fish.
Yeah, I've mostly seen him like since I've been around.
Big Fish and what's the movie with Julia Roberts when she plays the woman that's fighting?
Erin Brockovich.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like that's the kind of thing where I've seen him. So I don't know if he'd play a good young Milo, because Milo's supposed to be young and virile and everything.
He's supposed to be the opposite of Olivia, of Wyke. Yeah.
So I think Michael Caine, 1970s Michael Caine inhabits all of that. He's kind of got this James Bond kind of swagger going on. And I think that works really well. And I can't see anyone else in that role. Although then Jude Law played him. And I still can't see anyone else.
Well, we'll get to that because we both watched the remake that was directed by Kenneth Branagh that actually Michael Caine plays the Olivier part. And then Jude Law plays Caine's old part. So it came out 2007. But I was thinking about setting aside some time for us to discuss differences.
But I think that is Caine's role in general. Mm-hmm. I think the two of them together is what makes this movie so watchable. Like you say, it feels like 2 hours and 18 minutes, but I don't think so, because I loathe a lot of movies from the 70s that I have to watch. Even if I like them, they're like, I love The French Connection, but it feels like it's 9 hours long. But I'll always watch it if it's on or if I'm bored or and I see it's it's free streaming.
There's just moments in this movie for me, and maybe it's modern sensibilities, and I do appreciate plays being adapted, that I just felt like it was a lot of, they were repeating themselves over and over again with certain things they were saying. I mean, that's all.
All right.
But I wasn't like to the point where I was like, this is terrible. I felt the length. That's all.
See, that's the thing is I didn't, because I think it moves. I think they are literally always moving. It all takes place in Andrew's estate, a little bit outside, mostly just inside. But everyone's always walking around, moving, doing something, which is very play-like. Keep your cast moving, playing with things, keep it visually interesting. They're always talking. They always have quick wit. They always have something to say to each other. There's very little silence other than the weird pans and kind of cutaways to their his automatons. Which are not toys, they're automatons. Everyone in working order, I might add.
Who's the upkeep on that?
A lot. That's why he needs the money for the jewelry, because toys probably cost too much to keep going. But yeah, it was very, very engaging. I'm gonna be honest. I have almost no notes for this film because I was just watching it. I have maybe 5 notes written down while I was watching. I think this movie is fantastic. From start to finish, I really do like this movie.
Well, let me ask. We talked about this with Betsy's Wedding, and for those who don't know, that was the movie we did a couple weeks ago, probably last season, right?
Yes, last season
with
Alan
Alda. And one of our conversations there was how Alan Alda, coming from the stage, he wrote that movie, and there was a lot of mixing of genres in the movie, and we felt it was stilted and didn't, among other things,
right?
That it kind of affected the overall, not just the different plots, different subplots in that movie affecting the main plot, but how they were different. Like it was comedy, drama, that kind of stuff. It was back and forth. It didn't know what it wanted to be. But that was the conversation we were having. But in this movie, there is a little bit. I thought when the clown outfit ends up, when he puts the clown outfit on, they're like, oh, you're gonna break in, and he's trying to walk up the steps with the big shoes. I thought it got a little goofy.
It does get a little too goofy,
and that's what I wanted. Because the point I was making with that other episode was that from the stage, a lot of times different genres are blended and mixed into a play, because that's just, it's the play is what the play is. It's not really trying to. So this is kind of like that coming around again, because this is the adaptation of a play by the same guy who wrote the play. He's not going to cut everything,
right?
So I'm wondering if that goofiness affected you a little bit, because to me I was just like, all right, can we just kind of move on a little bit?
It did kind of throw me off. I will say, stuff like that, modern sensibilities, that wouldn't be done now. I mean, it's got this wicked sense of humor throughout it. It's
which is fine, which I understand.
But yeah, the clown outfit was really goofy.
Yeah.
If you did it today, you would definitely, even if you stuck to the original a little bit more, I think you would not have him be a clown, even if he dressed up, because that just kind of went too far. The putty.
There's really no reason for any of that.
Yeah, that kind of did kind of drag. And it was like, all right, get in. Once he gets in and he's ripping apart everything, that's okay.
Right.
But trying to get in with the ladder, and the putty was just this weird goofiness that wasn't actually goofy enough, I guess.
Well, it's.
But also, if it was even goofier, it would have been funnier, but it would have not been this movie.
In terms of the dialogue and the mixing of being funny and dramatic and angry, and that's all within dialogue and everyday conversation that happens. You say one thing, you mean another. I think that the stuff that I'm talking about, the goofiness, just kind of pulls me away a little bit. Where the point was just like, all right, I understand what we're doing. I understand it.
Sure.
I just don't know if I'm really in love with that kind of just that kind of humor, that kind of physical broad humor in this movie. And I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how that would on the stage, how that would play. Do you know what I mean?
You'd probably be Olivier in the front of the stage while the actor playing Milo comes out
in the clown outfit,
from behind. And it's just kind of funny because he's barely visible and you're watching something else going on.
Right.
So it'd be like, oh, look, it's a background. We're not supposed to see it, but we see it. Whereas in this, it's front and center and they keep cutting away to it. It's just like, okay. Right. Although I do like the scene before when Milo's really getting into doing this heist and he's getting the clown outfit on. I like that excitement and the playfulness they both share.
Right.
Because I do like that. Wyke says at the end, they're both very similar to each other. They both enjoy their games, whatever. And although Milo says, oh, no, I don't, I'm not into games or whatever, he is very similar to Wyke. I think you don't do what Milo does afterward, after he gets fake killed, unless you're a little bit like Wyke. I mean, that's a lot of setup.
Yeah. But at the end of the movie, do you think that, why would Milo turn it not think that Wyke was a threat with the gun? Like, why would he just, oh, you're not going to shoot me? Like, I don't understand why he thought that was.
Because I think he thought that Wyke was probably a coward. He
Right.
fake killed him. He didn't have the balls to actually, go through with murder.
Right.
And all this stuff about murder and all, like, he wants Marguerite back because she's his property.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how is killing Milo going to get her back and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I don't think he realizes that Wyke then kind of resigns himself to, I'm not getting anybody back. You've kind of ruined everybody for me.
See, now I at the end I thought that it was more like Wyke didn't like losing the game and he was a sore loser.
Oh, he's absolutely a sore loser. Yeah, which he kind of admits to.
Yeah, but he's not so. It's better. It's obviously it's more fun when you have the upper hand in the game.
Right. He's so used to winning the game and being the game master that he doesn't like when someone one ups him.
Right.
And Milo one ups him twice.
Did you see the note that in the stage play each act ends with a game set match, and they removed it because they didn't think that people would understand what that reference in America.
Which is weird because I don't even play tennis and I get that reference.
Well, now you get it, but tennis in the 70s maybe it wasn't as big.
Maybe
over
in
here.
the 70s, yeah. But like nowadays, yeah, everybody goes game set match.
You're talking like you're just at the beginning of like Jimmy Connors and John McEnroe, which aren't going to come around for another 10 years, maybe 5-10 years. So it's not really. It's all European, but still, I mean, well, we can get that. Yeah, I agree with you. The similarities between this movie and Django Unchained, do you know what they are? Do you know what it is? So in Django Unchained, in Django Unchained, actually no, in this one, when Olivier wipes the chess pieces to the floor during the scene,
right,
he actually cuts his hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did.
And he covers it with a handkerchief and puts it in his jacket pocket and continues the scene, and that's in there. Same thing happened with DiCaprio in Django Unchained
when he slams
the glass down and cuts his hand. So
Olivier didn't rub his blood all over Caine's face, though.
Well, that was what the scene called for. Oh, please! I mean, you're an actor. You would love that. You'd be like, yeah.
No, I would not like if someone smeared their blood all over me. Come on,
in the moment.
Maybe in the moment, but right afterward.
Oh, sure.
Cut.
But it's a great scene.
It is a great scene.
I mean,
that's my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie.
Django.
This is that and Pulp.
This isn't on the QT.
Right. I was in the wrong episode.
That's another podcast from Forgotten Entertainment. Check it out. Did you read the note about how Olivier had trouble memorizing his lines?
I did. He was on pills because I guess he opened a theater. And it wasn't doing so well, and it had just gone under and closed down. So he's taking pills to kind of deal with the stress.
Pills,
I'm sure, but I guess it was causing him to not remember his lines.
Yeah.
And then he stopped taking the pills, and all of a sudden, he was fine.
I guarantee you, those pills are like illegal now.
Oh, for sure. It's straight up heroin in a capsule, probably.
Yeah, the barbiturates. Just take them. They're fine. How about the note that Caine was starstruck working with Olivier? Did you hear that?
I did. Yeah. What do I call you? When we meet, you call me Sir Laurence Olivier.
No, when we first met. Yeah,
when we first meet, you call me Sir Laurence Olivier, and I call you Mr. Michael Caine. And afterward, it's Larry and Mike.
That's a nice line. That's a nice, a nice. I want to say story. I guess a nice anecdote. Nice anecdote. That's what I was.
You always like to hear that people like Laurence Olivier is often and rightly so considered one of the. Well, we talked about it in our Denzel Washington Spotlight episode. Often talked about as one of the greatest actors of all time, and he might certainly be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always nice when you hear somebody that grandiose and that great, and that he's actually like a really nice guy and normal and affable and easy to work with. I mean, you don't like the other hand where it's this person pretends he's the character and starts beating people up on set because he's a psychopath.
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking
about. Well, here's the other thing too. Everyone talks about Cary Grant and Jimmy Stewart over here in America. Sure. About how classic actors, they're good times, Humphrey Bogart, but you never talk about Olivier like that over here. I think he's big, which is I'm not saying that that's rightfully so. That's unfortunate.
I think it depends on where you are. If you're in a film school or you're in an acting school,
of course
you do talk about.
I'm talking about the casual moviegoers.
Casual moviegoers, sure, but they're Jimmy Stewart, they're Cary Grant. They're not characters. They can't perform the dramas like Olivier does.
What I'm saying is that I would argue that, or not argue, but I would probably guess that Olivier is probably more well known in Europe.
Oh, sure.
England,
I'm sure
not
he
here.
is.
That's what I'm saying. Here, I don't think he's given the same amount of prestige. amongst in terms of like, oh, I got to catch him. I remember him in this. And
Right.
I'm talking about casual. I'm not talking about film school people.
I also think that America doesn't have as much of not as high of an opinion as Shakespeare, but as deeply rooted an opinion of Shakespeare.
Well, Shakespeare's not
Shakespeare
an
is
English
exactly,
yeah, obviously.
That's
As
Americans, we're like snooty English,
which is ridiculous because his stuff is in the public domain and people have no problem doing Shakespeare
Denzel's
over and over
Macbeth.
again. So yeah, I hear you. I just curious, because you never really. I mean, we've done this for we've done 150 episodes. It's our first Olivier film.
Because a lot of his films are well known,
and plus, I know.
Although Rebecca could make the list.
You could make a case that a lot of his movies are forgotten because who talks about them?
That's true. A lot of people my age probably have never seen any of those.
Yeah. Who's ever seen the chronological history of King Henry V's battle? Can't even repeat. I can't even say it. I mean, how many people do you think have seen Marathon Man? How many people have actually seen Marathon Man the whole way through and not just the scene with in the dental chair? Like, how about that?
That's true. Yeah.
All right, well, give me some lines that you liked in the movie, if you have any. Did you have any written down?
I liked his entire conversation about like he talks to Milo about being Italian.
Yes.
But then he talks to him about like, oh, well, what religion are you? He goes, I'm Catholic. So, well, not really a Catholic. I actually have no religion, Oh, yes. I know quite a few lapsed Catholics. Some of my best friends are lapsed Catholics. And it's just like, oh my God, you get like right off the bat, you get his racism and his prejudice like right there.
You get the
like,
racism before he goes down, he does the Chinese. He slants his eyes and does the Chinese little thing.
That's after the Italian thing, isn't it?
No, but I know, but you also get it there too.
Yep. He only likes, because it's weird because Milo's even half English.
Mm-hmm.
And he's white, and it's such an interesting kind of racism as well in this film.
Because he's a jumped up pantry boy who doesn't know his place.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not just. I don't think it's not just racism.
It's class.
It's elitism,
which is very much an English thing.
Oh, of course.
You're not going to get a lot of that.
Old money versus new money, that kind of thing. Yep.
So that's definitely something very English. Something you see. You read a lot in a lot of novels and stuff like that. And here it's like right on center stage. I also like the quote toward the end. Sex is the game. Yeah. Marriage is the penalty.
And I said that to my wife. She didn't think it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, yeah. I liked the shortest way to a man's heart is through humiliation, which makes sense.
Oh, right.
How many times do you just rip on people and then you're just like, oh man, we're just joking.
Absolutely,
like that kind of thing.
It's kind of like what guys do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just have to make sure he was one of us. I like that line too. Like the whole like I had to scare him to make sure that he was a good sort.
Yeah,
kind of a thing.
Yeah, I know. There's nothing like a little bit of mayhem to cheer one up. That whole thing, yeah.
The other thing is Michael Caine would have died on that step because
if
you can't fire a blank point
shot
blank
him point blank in the head with a blank, unless he pointed it up. But yes, he shoots him in the head point blank with a blank. He's definitely gonna feel that, and he's gonna get a concussion.
There's an explosion that happens in the barrel of that gun.
He's definitely gonna get a concussion. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean?
Part of his skull's getting blown off.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you.
But I get it's a movie, so that's fine.
Oh, really? What were they actually playing? Was it snooker? Is it billiards? Like, is that snooker they were playing, or was that pool?
That was pool.
Okay, because the
balls
8 ball was
numbers,
but
right?
they were all different colors.
They were all different colors.
Right.
I think that's just like a expert pool set where they know the numbers.
Snookers with the red balls and the bumpers. Yeah, I don't know.
Sure, maybe. I don't know. I know they're definitely just playing pool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've only played pool a couple of times, but that's definitely what he was playing because he was naming the balls and then he did the black ball last, which is always the 8 ball.
One part of the house I liked. I am not a big fan of the creepy dolls. I would not have creepy dolls in my house. Not like I wasn't a fan of the movie.
Some of them were interesting, but yeah, that they were too creepy. They reminded me of House with the Clock on its walls.
But I like
when those things attack them.
Oh, right. Yeah, but just creepy. It's just like creepy. That's another episode we did. So I do like and I want that outdoor inner sanctum.
Oh, the hedge. That's my very first note. I want a hedge maze.
I want the hedge stuff. I want the inner sanctum where I'm hidden, but I also want the cement coolers where I open them up and there's just
drinks and stuff like that.
That's what I want.
I do like one of the things I really like toward the beginning, which I didn't realize later on, is the beginning when he opens up his cooler and Milo asks for vodka.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I don't have vodka. I just have gin. Gin is a very iconically English liquor, and vodka is thought of as like a Russian kind of foreign kind of liquor, and he does not have that liquor.
Because it's not
proper.
becoming. Yeah, exactly.
So he's got gin.
Of course he does.
I thought that was really good.
I do like the actual crossword puzzle by the toilet, though. I could get into that.
But you got to get a new one after you finish it, right?
But that's fine. I mean, it's a huge puzzle, and you're going to be on the toilet.
Calling it Rick. I'm going to need another one sent to me. But I did like that too. I like he's got on one of his dressers when Milo first walks into the house. There's a dog statue on an end table, and inside that dog statue's back, it's hollowed out, and are smaller dog statues within that other dog statue. They
must have just sent they shot the note I had for this is they shot this on the soundstage over in England, obviously. So the soundstage that they used, the cellar part, not where they must have just had somebody go in and get a bunch of stuff to fill the room up.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
But the cellar, when they're in the cellar, that's actually that's the first class reading and writing room that was, so they shot in Pinewood Studios. It's actually the first class reading and writing room for the RMS Mauretania, which is a luxury ocean liner. And its sister ship was the Lusitania. Obviously, everyone probably knows what happened to the RMS Lusitania. So that's actually a room from the ship in Pinewood Studios that they use, where in the cellar you can actually see the life preserver.
One of the life preservers, yeah.
So I thought that was really a cool fact.
It was a nice note. It's interesting that they carved out an entire room out of a ship and sent it somewhere.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, we could use this. Absolutely. I didn't realize that you can't find this streaming anywhere.
I didn't realize either. I mean, obviously, we couldn't find it streaming. Fun fact, if you're trying to watch Sleuth, you got to go through some other means to try to get it.
No comment.
But you should. But
it's owned by a pharmaceutical company.
Which shut down they had an entertainment division, which shut down.
Well, I don't get that.
My thing is, why not just sell everything? And also, who can I talk to about buying the rights to Sleuth?
There's two things we make here: Provasic and movies. People will know where that's from.
I want the rights to Sleuth. I want to know how much they are, and I want to buy them off whoever actually owns this.
But I can get you 20 units of Azor. It's a heart pressure medication. All right, so let's talk about the remake. Let's talk about the differences. I know you don't like the remake.
The remake sucks.
So in 2007, I said before, they did a remake. Kenneth Branagh directed it. Michael Caine plays the white character, the older gentleman, and Jude Law plays the Tindo character. And it's a shorter film. It's an hour and a half. It's not 2 hours and 18 minutes. And it's the house. It's still kind of like a English manor, but the inside of the house, which is clearly a set, it's like modern art. It's all modern and all digital.
It looks like Lydia Dietz from Beetlejuice.
Yeah, it does.
In 2010.
It's a little off-putting. It's a little off-putting. And aside from that, that's obviously the difference. There's a note that I had that Caine said that he took the role because it wasn't the same movie, which is fine. He didn't really want to redo it. But also, like, no lines from the original were in the remake, which is BS because he has one of the lines.
There are some dialogue is taken verbatim for sure. Yeah.
But so they kind of pretty much follow the same formula a little bit, obviously updated, and they pick it up. Well, it's not
the first half is definitely
not
the
as
same.
much of it gets to it real quick. It gets to it quicker in terms of. I know, but I'm just saying it
Yeah.
gets to it quicker. There's no back and forth a lot of times. There is, but it's in the confines of just the crux of the plot. It's basically pared down. But the change happens where it veers from the first movie a little bit is the third act, where basically the same idea where Wyke sees something in Tindo. We can get along just like in the original.
Right.
But that becomes something like, why don't you stay with me? It becomes like a homosexual affair.
You can be my kept boy kind of.
Yeah, it becomes something like that. But what I wanted to ask you was, did you get that impression from the original?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It was clearly just updated to be shocking and a twist. It's not very well done. It's all very much like, hey, I want to do Sleuth. I think I can write it just as good. And then trying to write it and like borrowing dialogue verbatim because you can't write your own good dialogue because all the rest of the dialogue is all the cleverness and wittiness of the old dialogue goes away. And they just have this repartee that's so quick. And you think the quick is wit, but it's just fast talking. And it's just all the subtext, all the interest goes away. He just brings up hairdresser because it's in the original.
Well, I think in this movie, because in the movie in the 2007 version, the Tindo character is an actor, but he says Wyke says like, "Aren't you a hairdresser?" He's like, "No, I'm an actor." And I think he keeps using hairdresser as a derogatory term.
Oh yeah, I know, but it's
Yeah.
just there because it's in the original. It still makes no sense.
Sure.
Also, the Italian thing doesn't really make much sense in
Tindolini.
2007.
Yeah.
Oh, you're half Italian. You're a half breed. No,
Yeah, the racism really
the
doesn't play.
racism would have to work better. You would have to get someone who was like half black or half Asian or half something of a different race as well.
Well, the movie came about because Jude Law gave this play to the writer, and I can't, I'm blanking on his name.
Harold Pinter. Or something
Yes,
like that.
yes, that's right. And said, "Write me a movie. I want to make a movie." And that's how it came. So Jude Law's not going to not do it. It's just
That part's got to be taken out. It's got to just be about class then.
maybe. So you would prefer if they were going to remake it, you would prefer more. Would you prefer set back in the 70s or back in the 60s and just do it like the same kind of way they did it with Caine and Olivier, or just kind of update it and modernize it?
If you did it back in the day, you'd have to make it really sleek and interesting and fun. And I think that someone like
Are we casting the remake? Is that what we're doing
casting
here?
the director, Guy Ritchie.
Oh,
Someone like Guy Ritchie.
no.
Well, like something with that kind of sleekness where it's like it goes back and it goes through, something with that, and an inherently kind of British director. If you did it in modern day, you would just have to do like modern games, but you can definitely do something like that. So I wouldn't mind. It would just depend on how your angle was, how you were doing it.
So cast the remake. We're making this movie 2023. It's coming out Thanksgiving weekend. 20th Century Fox.
So I'll be Tyndall.
No. You
Robert Downey
chose yourself.
Robert Downey Jr.'s got to be white. It would be a great Wyke because
What
he's
about-
eccentric enough, and I think that would work.
What about Russell Crowe?
Yes, but he'd be a much more sinister kind of.
But he would be much more of a blowhard kind of like time has passed him by. He's no longer popular kind of thing. Like Olivier character, like he's an older man.
Yeah,
He can't be seen.
I can't see
the
Russell
thing-
Crowe going eccentric.
But
though.
the thing with Wyke is that Wyke can't be somebody who can still has sex appeal. He's got, you know what I
That's
mean?
true.
He's
Okay,
got to be
yeah,
somebody
yeah, yeah.
who, because he lies about it, but he's got to be somebody who's impotent, basically, because that's what happens. In
I'll
this
put
movie.
Downey in a fat suit.
Come on.
But yeah, okay. Russell Crowe would do a good job. And Milo.
Has to be someone young.
Kit Harington. He's handsome, but he's short, and he comes off as kind of, even in Game of Thrones and the Eternals, is kind of someone that kind of is afraid of himself, and I think that could work really well.
I'm gonna say his name wrong because I always do.
Butcher it.
The guy who played Martin Luther King in Selma,
Oh yeah,
David
Oleo.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think going along the lines of what you were talking about with the remake in terms
It
of
would
that
have
racism
to. It
angle.
would. Yeah, he would do a great job.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else.
Well, just to go along
But
the
yeah.
lines of using that kind of you're not better, you're not as good as me. Maybe you do need to have, just the kind of that difference in race or ethnicity, at least something rather than just saying like the Italian stuff that they did in 2007.
Yeah.
It doesn't, as you say,
Or
it doesn't track.
Reverse the racism.
You could.
Do an older black gentleman and like a white guy, and the white guy's not good enough for his black daughter kind of a thing.
Here's the thing. I just think that using race as an angle in in a remake is kind of
It's like
easy
cheap,
to do.
and
yeah.
it's very like
It's not
overdone now.
interesting.
I think.
Yeah. I would want something
Class
a little
would work
more.
better.
I don't mind it. I just want something a little more layered into why you don't think I'm good enough. That kind
Class
of thing.
works a little better.
Yeah. But I think this could be done again. And I think, but I would like it more like the original. I understand what you're trying to do in 2007. What Ron's trying to do. He's trying to do something different and more modernized.
He's
I
trying
get
to be
it.
edgy.
I get it. But you also don't know if that's the directive of the studio. So who knows? Because we're
I'll
not.
tell you the director of the studio for the 2007. Put as much product placement in this thing as you can.
Where?
Oh my god! Samsung, Nokia, Belvedere,
First of all,
Peroni.
first-
It's all like out front
What-
and center.
that remote that he uses in that, it's like one button, and I'm like,
It's one button does
I don't-
everything.
Yeah.
The infrared has to be a direct line of sight, or
I
else it's
know.
just activating everything at once.
And then I know we're getting off topic, but in that movie, he has a ladder that comes down from the window.
From nowhere.
Why?
Used to drop down a ladder. It's the only one in the house.
So this ladder looks like it's only here just for the express purpose of if you somehow break into my place, this is how you can get down. There's no other reason for the ladder.
It's so stupid.
All right, but I wanted to talk about the differences a little bit between the original and the remake. So I'll go back to the original just so that this is what the episode's about.
The original's better.
No, yeah, we talk about. I guess I don't want to start doing a couple of notes. Well, what else maybe that you thought of in the movie that kind of you enjoyed or we haven't talked about? We haven't
I like one thing I was wondering if you liked the cutaways to, I can't remember if it was Laughing Jack or Laughing John, the statue, how it emoted differently in different scene setups as a reaction to Wyke's emotions, or every time Milo kind of set up Wyke.
I thought I was a little bit when they kept going to the laughing pirate. It was at some point I was like, all right, enough. It was a little too much. But then and when they kept doing some of the audio stuff, when they kept going to stuff that was playing and they were talking over the music boxes and the
Right.
toys, I was having a tough time understanding what the heck was going on. I couldn't understand what they were saying.
Yeah, it only worked for me once. I thought it was well done when Milo had tricked Wyke the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and he was discussing what he did, and he turns on the one that plays the New Year's theme, the little acrobat guy.
Yes.
Because that's clearly to upset Andrew. He's trying to talk to him.
This at the end.
Yeah, and he's all upset, and this thing's annoying the crap out of him on
Yes.
purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other times, yeah, I thought it was just kind of in the way of dialogue, unnecessary.
One of the things in this movie, because it's a play that's being adapted into a film, one of the things you get a lot, and because there's only two actors, is you get a lot of actors, Andrew and Milo, explaining actions that happen off screen. And
That's very play-like, yes.
Yes. And that's kind of maybe where I thought, I don't think you need to add other characters. I don't need to see other than the two.
No, it's a
mates.
two-man
I understand
show, which
what
is
it
great,
is.
yeah.
But I wonder if you, back to doing a remake or redoing it, I wonder if we talked about modern sensibilities, if you do have to include more actors and actresses in the movie in terms of like showing the scene when Milo meets his mistress, and whereas he's explaining what he did, but you see it, it might be a lie,
like a flash,
but you see it. Yeah.
As long as she doesn't have dialogue.
Okay. But do it like that. Do it like he's narrating what happens.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I don't think anyone else should have dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that the only dialogue is between the two people, and any other voices you hear are just the other actors pretending to be other characters that are not really there.
Right.
Okay. I think that works.
Because in the remake, they actually show the wife coming back driving in
They
the
show
car.
her hand out of the car.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah.
I didn't understand that.
You can keep her. I don't want her. The one thing I didn't get in the film was the hidden red car. Now, he hides his car, but was that just to, in case I die, he's got the red car all hidden, like he was trying to cover up a murder, or was it just, hey, I parked here, let me hide the car so that they think I'm the constable and not Milo?
Yeah, I actually think that that's from Milo hiding it when he walks up to the.
Just because he was trying to be the constable.
But they're showing you that because the intent is like, oh, he's hit his car because he's still dead. Like you don't know he's not dead.
Oh, it's to kind of hide the fact that you.
I think it's in the movie. It's explained like that's how he drove up and he's hidden it so he wouldn't see it. But the audience is supposed to take that as still the lie that he's dead,
that he has murdered him. Right.
So I think that works both ways.
Sure.
Way, yeah. Although now he's dead at the end, so it really doesn't.
He's definitely not down for the count. Is he dead? Could he survive? Who knows? I mean, I think he's dead too. But
yeah, well, you never really see. I mean, I think for the sake because it's a play, I'm not going to really tell you.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, there's no end card going. Milo survived this incident. Actually, he's living well with Marguerite.
What about when when the inspector first shows up and it's dark out and they're talking and then they're like, let's go outside. You buried him outside. Let's go outside. And they go outside and it's clearly light out.
I thought the same thing. I was like, wait, how late of the night was it? Because now it's light. It wasn't a very good night for day, but that's the 70s. You get a lot of that night or day for night rather. That's just really bad.
One thing they do, I love how it was really easy to remove all that spirit gum. He ruins those towels.
Oh, for sure. And he just uses the other guy's deodorant, Andrew's deodorant and stuff.
It's like, ruins all those towels.
I do like in the remake when
he
to get rid of the maid, he dumps the vodka on his face and he's like, because that's really what.
But then he's got the towel and he wipes away and it's like it's all gone. I'm like, wow.
I really do want the game that Wyke's playing. I want to know what game that is with the squares. He's like, it's taken me months to get to this point in the game.
Early, like the long table of
squares with each piece is completely different.
Yeah,
I don't know what game that is. I have to go back and find the name of that game, but I kind of want to know what game that is and how to play it.
Well, you want to get in on that? You want to get some action on that game?
All right, it takes like 8 years to play. Sure. I don't even know how to play chess, but let's learn how to play that game.
I guess we've. Oh, you know what? Did you ever see Death Trap?
No.
So that Michael Caine's in that too, and it's kind of similar to this movie that came out in '82. That's with Christopher Reeve.
Okay.
And that's the poster for that is like a Rubik's cube, and the top's being lifted off, and you see Christopher Reeve's face coming out or something.
I seen the poster. Yeah.
So that I guess it's very similar to that film, and I've only seen like bits and pieces of that. So that's actually on my list over there. I'm gonna check out. I'm gonna watch.
One question I have for you that I
Ooh.
was confused about in the movie is why did Milo go into the closet at the end, grab what I assume is either Andrew's mistress or Marguerite's raincoat and put it on the hook?
I didn't get that either because when he shows up, the raincoat is on the hook
Right.
in the beginning, and I was like, oh, she's still there. She's. I didn't understand that. I don't know, and maybe and nothing I read and when we went through it revealed anything, and I'm wondering if that's something from the play they just kind of put in there to kind of keep like
Keep
a
something
nod to the play kind of thing. But yeah, I don't.
because he goes up and gets the fur coat that's upstairs.
Right.
It wasn't about the raincoat.
No.
Yeah, I just didn't understand that. 'Cause
Yeah.
It was never explained.
Mhm.
So it's right before he gets shot.
Yeah, and it was out on the coat rack the entire time.
First time
when
he
he first
visited,
time,
yeah.
when he gets
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. A couple other notes, real quick. The photo that was used to replace the damaged photo when he shoots it and then he hides the bullet hole because when the inspector comes
Yep,
back, there's a
yep,
bullet in it. That is actually a photo of Dame Agatha Christie. For all those horror writer fans out there, not horror writer, mystery fans out there. Sorry. Also, you noticed that there was a picture of the Duke of Windsor on one of they were scrolling by and they had 2 framed photos and one of them was the Duke of Windsor. That was actually put up because during production, Duke of Windsor passed away. So they did that to honor the Duke. And do you know whose likeness was used for the wife? The painting of the wife?
No.
Paul Newman's wife,
Really?
Joanne Woodward.
Just because?
I don't know. Maybe somebody knew somebody there, or maybe she was, somebody who's very popular. I don't know.
I do know they had a Baker Street
Yeah, they do a couple
street sign
references.
as well,
Yep.
so they have a couple of
They
mystery
have
references.
the Baker Street reference street sign, and then the other street sign, which I'm blanking on the name, was actually where Jack the Ripper's murder took place. The first murder took place.
Yeah.
So that's what they have that there. Yeah, no. Absolutely. There's also some stuff. There's some like interesting stuff. I know we're probably gonna already say why this was forgotten. It's old. It's 50 years old this year.
You can't find it.
Well, that's ridiculous. But yes, but this was 50 years old this year, 2022. It's his 50th anniversary coming up at the end of the year.
Let's go Shout Factory or something like that. Buy the rights to this. And
Let's go
put it out.
TCM or
Yeah.
let's get a whatever it is. What do they do now? Fathom event.
That's a Turner Classic Movie
let's
Classic.
go.
Yeah. But they'd have to get the rights. I think that's why it's forgotten as well, because you can't watch it.
You can't see it. It's not running on HBO. I probably watched this on HBO back in the day.
That's where I know I've watched it. One of the movie channels, and then the pharmaceutical company must have went under with their entertainment division. I just don't get why you didn't sell your ad. I mean, it's just I don't understand. But I think if this movie was still shown, I think a few more people would know about this. At least a few more people that like film. Because I think when you're talking about Michael Caine's films, I think this is definitely one of the better ones. I think if you talk about Laurence Olivier, this would be the one to show them.
This would be the one to show them and be like, "Do you like him? Well, you should watch some of his earlier
Exactly.
stuff."
You can watch some of the headier,
absolutely.
more Shakespearean stuff after you watch this, which
Sure.
is very fun, especially after someone goes, because you could easily show anybody from the modern time like Clue and they'll like it because it's
Yes.
funny. And then after Clue, you can probably be like, you might like Sleuth
Mhm.
because it's also very clever, done in the same time period, shot very similarly. So watch Sleuth now, and then they can go and watch Laurence Olivier, or maybe watch some older Michael Caine films from when he was not Alfred from Batman.
Oh. Hey, that's the guy from Batman. And all the Christopher Nolan films.
You know that's what everyone's gonna say.
I know. That's the guy from Jaws for the Revenge.
You know he was in Get Carter as the main character. He's Sylvester Stallone. No, the good Get Carter.
He's Alfie. Oh, the Jude Law one? No.
I forgot about that. But yeah, I think the fact that you can't get it does it a more disservice than not. I think more people would know it if it wasn't lost.
Agreed. I think that.
But I think the fact that it's older actors that are in it now, it is very British.
nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. But I think we're a little bit kind of like Anglophiles in terms of liking a lot of British stuff.
Yeah.
But I think some British stuff's kind of harder to like or not. We were talking about being excited for Chicken Run 2 and the new Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
But that's also very dry British humor. So you kind of have to like that.
Yeah, you do. And I think I made the comment to you that, Aardman is very good, and they've produced a lot of really cool stuff that doesn't get the same attention in terms of not within the industry, but casual movie fans as like Pixar does and Disney animation.
Right.
But they should, and I think the Netflix deal for them is a good deal for them. And,
For sure.
And then I hope that helps them, because they lost like a bunch of stuff in a fire like a decade ago or something like that.
The original Wallace and Gromit actually burned it alive.
All right, calm down. Where can they find us?
You can find us on ForgottenEntertainment.com or ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com. We are part of the Forgotten Entertainment family, so go check out all those other great podcasts while you're there. We did mention On the QT earlier in this episode. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, YouTube. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. It helps our podcast grow. The more we grow, the more cool stuff we can do, and that just benefits you guys, but also secretly us. And that's what I got.
That's it.
That's it.
Join us next week as we're going to watch a movie shot on an iPhone. That's the Steven Soderbergh film Unsane from 2018. Butler has not seen this film.
I have not.
I have. We know somebody that was in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was in it?
Yeah. I don't know if he listens to the show, but Art Schaefer.
He's in.
He plays
I think you told me about. Okay,
he's in the background, so he does a lot of. A friend of ours who was a police officer here and would work at the theater with us, and I play basketball with him. He does like acting. He does like a lot of like behind the scenes stuff, not behind the scenes, excuse me, extra work and stuff like that. A lot of the ID shows where he's doing the recreating stuff, but he's actually in this movie because they shot in the city way back in 2017. I was like, hey, there he is. So I thought that was pretty cool. Good for him. But yeah, Unsane. Don't be alarmed. That was shot on an iPhone. I actually was really into it. So that's next week. Until then, have a great week, everybody. I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema.